uninformed. It was scientifically informed. But he also said, look, let's make the assumption, I'm paraphrasing slightly, but let's make the assumption that we want to, as a society, we want to extract maximum useful economic value from talented people. So one of the things we want to do is, if some of those people are women and some of them are men, we want to understand the actual differences between women and men so that we can set up the workplace so that both women and men can contribute to the maximum economically so that they can benefit as individuals and everybody can benefit socially. So you so you can use you can use the biological. So I mean, for example, one of the things, here's a biological problem. On average, women are more agreeable than men. And I think that's because agreeable people they're self-sacrificing. And I think as a woman, you need to be wired to be self-sacrificing or you won't be able to tolerate taking care of infants. That's my sense of it. Okay, now there's some problems with that. It's like, let's say that a huge part of female wiring is tilted in the direction of the necessity of self-sacrifice for infant care. Okay, that doesn't equip women very well for dealing with aggressive men, because aggressive men and infants are not the same creatures. So women pay a price, being optimized to some degree for infant care. They pay a price that they're less, what would you call, prepared, that's one way of thinking about it, with dealing with hyper-aggressive and competitive men. Well, one of the consequences of that is that agreeable people don't make as much money. And the reason for that is, to make money, you actually have to be disagreeable, because you have to go to your boss and say, give me some bloody money or something you don't like will happen to you.
You have to
like, I'll leave.
You have to be able to fight for an idea too.
Yeah.
But so there's something, this is a perfect test case. So biologically speaking, there's a very good reason for certain kinds of wisdom to be biased in the direction of manifesting in females. Females, because they have the capacity to have fewer offspring in a lifetime than males, are obligated, as you say, to care in a particular way. And the fact that care in human beings takes so many years has resulted in menopause emerging. And menopause, essentially, when a woman is done producing new offspring, her interests in her evolutionary interests, which in this case I think are honorable, becomes synonymous with the lineage, the population, because her offspring will either do well or do poorly based on the population that they're in. So women have a kind of farsightedness about lineage, and I don't think this has anything to do with human women, actually. This is a trait that we can see in females of other species. So it's an ancient thing, whereas males are high variance. That is to say, a male can have many offspring in a lifetime. Many males have no offspring in a lifetime. And that high variance means that to the extent that there's wisdom that surrounds risk-taking, that has traveled historically along the male path. Now, in modern times, there's no reason that we can't look at these two kinds of wisdom and democratize them both. Right? The fact is, there's no reason, if you're born female, that you can't tune into what has historically been male-biased wisdom and take advantage of that, and we should be encouraging this. There's no reason that people have to continue.
But the problem is that we can't actually have a reasonable discussion about it, because the discussion is often forestalled by the claim that, well, men and women are exactly the same. It's like that's not a helpful discussion. And with the agreeableness issue, I don't know exactly what should be done about that, but one of the consequences of it is that there's many reasons why there's pay differential between men and women, and the issue itself is very complex. But we do know that agreeable people overall make less money in the same positions, and it's because they don't negotiate on their own behalf very well. Now, it's conceivable that you could have an intelligent public policy or corporate policy discussion about what to do about that. Like maybe the rule is something like you review male salaries once a year and female salaries every 8 months, or something like that. And I'm not saying that's a good idea. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you take the facts on the ground into account, there are ways that you might be able to use them so that you could, and I'm not going to say level the playing field, because I think that's an appalling phrase, but maximize the possibility of economic contribution across the genders, which is obviously in everyone's best interest. But we're not going to do that when someone like James Damore comes out, and he's no scientist.
In 1,000 feet, turn right, then turn left.
He has some scientific training, but that wasn't his primary field of expertise. He came out and did a pretty credible job of summarizing the literature. He did it because he had been subject to mandatory diversity training and was asked to produce a response. He didn't do it so
Turn right on Mountain Road. Then turn left on Greenleaf Parsons Road.
Viral within the company or become public, and because he expressed his opinion, let's say imperfectly, he got fired. It's like, that's not good, man. That's not a good pathway.
Turn left on Greenleaf Parsons Road.
It also wasn't good that his stuff was being republished without citations. That people were publishing it without the scientific papers that were sort of affirming what some of the things that he was saying.
In 1 mile, turn right on Clay Hill Road.
I couldn't make heads or tails of it until I saw his original version.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
that goes back to the point I was making earlier about this is an unstable time where people's individual ethical choices, in some circumstances, will have effects far beyond the local. It's like those journalists who jumped on the story, did it either badly, because they were incompetent, or they did it maliciously.
Right.
And so now we could say, let's say things go really badly in the next year. Well, then each of those journalists might be able to sit at home and say, hey, I played a causal role in bringing about this state of murderous.
In 1,000 feet, turn right. Turn right on Clay Hill Road.
Yo, bro, do you relax, bro?
In 2.9 miles, turn right on Shore Road.
Cause I got a rice cooking in the microwave.
Murderous collapse because of my ethical lapse when I was covering the James Damore memo. Because of my own laziness and ideological rigidity, I was willing to play fast and loose with the truth, and now I played a major causal role in, pushing everything towards a state of chaos. It's like people had better be on their toes because we're in a situation that's radically unstable. And so it's a really good time for everybody to be very careful about what they write and say, and about their motives for tarring and feathering the opposition. That's another thing that we have to be very careful about.
It's just very bizarre how quick people are to call someone a racist today. I mean, I've never seen anything like it in all my years. It's a strange time. I got into it yesterday. I got bored and I started trolling with Pepe the Frog. I started putting up the frog with rainbows, saying this seems like a frog that's really into gay rights. Like, here's a frog that holding a lemon with a tart face. Like, this is a frog that ate a lemon and he's reacting to it. Like, how is this all racist? Like, how is this anyone? It's not like all these people that are creating this frog are coordinating. Anyone can make a meme with the frog. And a lot of the original Feels Good Man cartoons that the guy created, those are applicable too. They're silly. A lot of them are really silly.
Well, I think a lot of it was an intentional troll.
Yes.
So I read a story about Kekistan. I was looking into it, trying to figure out if it was really, the menace to humanity that everybody claims it is, and the story was preposterous. It was it's a magical place where anti-Semites and Jews and atheists and religious people live in harmony, which is like, that's hard to even parse. It's
Yeah.
designed to cause your mind to throw in error.
Yeah.
Well, and that is what. So I think this is an excellent thing to talk about because I've been, let's say, identified under many circumstances now with the alt-right. I've been doing every bit of investigation I can into its many manifestations. It's a very confusing place. It's certainly not an organized place. And exactly what it is by no means obvious. And the Kekistan issue is a good case in point because mostly that's like a satirical realm where I don't know what it is. It's defensive humor in some sense. Like,
Yes.
let me give you an example. I gave my father a Kekistani flag about 3 weeks ago, and he's
Why
like,
did you do that?
well, because he's been following what's happening to me online, and
Right.
and a lot, and I got associated with the frog in a major way, and it's a crazy story, and I won't go into it. But I wore a frog hat on one of my videos that an Indian carver, a Native American carver, had given me, and he had told me that the frog was, in their culture, a harbinger of environmental instability.
Leave a drink Just doing alright. 'Cause it's a great day to be alive. Stars still shine.
In 1,000 feet, turn right.
I got a rice cooking in the microwave.
Turn right on Shore Road. You've arrived at your destination.